My name is Marcus Reed, and I worked as a janitor at Hawkins National Laboratory from 1979 to 1983. What I'm about to tell you was never officially documented, never appeared in any newspapers, but it happened, and it changed my life forever. It all started on a Tuesday in November. I was cleaning Sublevel 3, a restricted area where few employees had access. My supervisor handed me the keys that morning, saying they needed an urgent deep cleaning. I thought it was strange, but didn't question it. The Sublevel 3 corridor was different from the other floors. The walls were thick concrete, no windows. The fluorescent lights constantly flickered. The air had a strong chemical smell that burned the nose. And it was very, very cold. There were 12 doors along the corridor. 11 of them had numbers. The 12th had no identification at all. Just a strange symbol painted in faded red. It looked like a portal, or maybe an eye. I'd never seen anything like it before. I started cleaning from the first door. Room 1. It was an empty room with a metal bed bolted to the floor. The walls had deep scratches, as if someone had tried to dig through the concrete with their fingernails. There were dark stains on the floor that looked very much like dried blood. Room 2 was worse. It had a chair in the center with leather straps on the arms and legs. Around the chair, dozens of needles scattered across the floor. Some still had green liquid inside. On the wall, someone had written in shaky handwriting, "Help me." I felt my stomach turn, but I continued. I needed that job. My daughter was sick and the medications were expensive. I couldn't afford to be weak. So I took a deep breath and moved on to room 3. Room 3 was completely dark. The switch didn't work. I used my flashlight and almost dropped it. The walls were covered with photographs. Hundreds of them. All of children. Children with shaved heads wearing white numbered hospital gowns. Something about those children's expressions deeply disturbed me. It wasn't fear. It was emptiness, as if someone had erased everything that made them human and left only empty shells staring at the camera. I quickly went through rooms 4, 5, and 6. All had strange medical equipment. Machines with wires and electrodes, tanks filled with murky liquid, clipboards with coded notes I couldn't understand. Each room made me more nauseous than the previous one. It was in room 7 that I found the journal. It was hidden under a torn mattress. The leather cover was stained and worn. I opened to the first page and read, MK Ultra Experiment, Phase 4. Subjects, numbers 01 through 012. Objective, expansion of psychic capabilities through sensory deprivation and chemical stimuli. My hands trembled as I turned the pages. There were detailed descriptions of experiments. Children forced to stay awake for days. Drugs injected directly into the brain. Electric shocks applied at random intervals. All to try to unlock what they called latent abilities. Most subjects didn't survive. The journal coldly documented each death. Subject 03, cardiac failure during test 17. Subject 05, brain hemorrhage, discarded. Subject 08, adverse reaction to compound 7-alpha, terminated. But there was one subject different from the others. Subject 011. She survived everything. More than that, the tests on her started showing results. Telekinesis confirmed. Mental projection successful. Access to what they called the in-between dimension established. The last entry in the journal chilled me. 011 opened something that shouldn't have been opened. We've lost control of the situation. Level 3 evacuation authorized. Permanent sealing recommended. May God have mercy on our souls. The date of the last entry was November 6, 1983, exactly 1 week ago. I closed the journal and looked at the corridor. The 12th door, the one without a number, was at the end of the hallway, and I could swear I was hearing something coming from behind it. A low, constant hum, like static electricity. I should have left. Should have left that cursed journal where I found it and never returned to Sublevel 3. But curiosity is a terrible thing, and I needed to know what was behind that door. I approached slowly. The hum got louder with each step. The temperature dropped drastically. My breath formed white clouds in the air. The corridor lights started flickering faster. creating a disturbing strobe effect. The door wasn't locked. The handle was ice cold to the touch. I pushed slowly and it opened with a long, sharp creak that echoed through the empty corridor. What I saw on the other side made me question my sanity. The room was huge, much larger than should be possible. The walls seemed to pulse as if they were alive. They weren't concrete. They were something organic, wet, and dark. Black vines or tentacles covered every surface, moving subtly. In the center of the room was an opening, a rift in reality. There's no other way to describe it. It was as if someone had torn the fabric of the world and revealed something underneath. Something red and pulsating, like exposed flesh. The hum came from there. Around the rift, medical equipment was scattered, all covered in that black, viscous substance. And then I saw the bodies. 3 men in white coats, fallen in impossible positions. Their faces were frozen in expressions of absolute terror, but they weren't dead. At least not completely. Their eyes moved, following me as I approached. Their mouths opened and closed silently, like fish out of water. One of them extended his hand toward me, pleading. Then I heard the voice. It didn't come from any specific direction. It was inside my head. A child's voice, but distorted. Wrong. He is waking up. He is hungry. He wants to get out. I turned quickly, looking for who had spoken. That's when I saw her. In the darkest corner of the room, partially hidden by the black vines. A girl. She couldn't be more than 12 years old. Shaved head, wearing a hospital gown dirty with blood, and on her wrist a bracelet with the number 11. She looked at me with completely white eyes. No pupils, no irises. Just pure, bright white. You shouldn't be here. Her voice echoed in my mind again. Now he knows you exist. And when he knows, he comes. The rift started pulsing faster. The hum turned into a roar. The vines on the walls thrashed violently. And then, from inside the opening, something started coming out. Something big. Something impossible. I can't fully describe what I saw. My brain refused to process it. It was as if it were made of shadows and teeth and too many eyes. It had a vaguely humanoid shape, but elongated, distorted. Its limbs were too long and bent at angles that defied anatomy. The creature saw me. All those eyes fixed on me simultaneously. And I felt it. Felt its hunger, its rage, its hatred for everything that was alive and warm and real. It wanted to drag me to that red, pulsating place. Wanted to make me part of that nightmare world. I ran faster than I'd ever run in my life. Behind me, I heard the sound of it chasing me. Heavy, wet footsteps. A high-pitched hiss that made my ears bleed. The sound of claws scratching concrete. I left the room, crossed the corridor. The doors of the other rooms started opening by themselves. From inside them, I saw more things. Shadows that moved wrong. Shapes that shouldn't exist. And children. So many children with empty eyes watching me. I reached the stairs and climbed 3 steps at a time. The creature was right behind. I could feel its cold, rotten breath on my neck. I heard the girl's voice one last time. Run. Run and never look back. Never tell anyone, or he'll find you again. I reached the ground floor and kept running. Crossed the lobby, ignoring security's shouts. Went out the front door and didn't stop until I was in my car. My hands were shaking so much I could barely put the key in the ignition. I drove home in shock. My mind tried to process what I'd seen, but it was impossible. That couldn't be real. It had to be a psychotic break. A hallucination caused by the laboratory's chemicals. Anything but the truth. When I got home, my wife saw me and went pale. I was covered in black, viscous substance. My clothes were torn. Blood was dripping from my ears. She wanted to call an ambulance, but I begged her not to. I couldn't go to the hospital, couldn't tell anyone. I took a shower that lasted an hour. The water ran black. The substance stuck to my skin like tar. When I finally got out, I looked in the mirror and almost screamed. There were marks on my neck, finger marks. But they weren't human fingers. They were too long, with extra joints. That night I couldn't sleep. Every time I closed my eyes, I saw that red, pulsating rift. Saw those eyes watching me. Heard that distorted child's voice in my head. At 3 in the morning, I heard something scratching my bedroom window. I got up slowly and looked. There was nothing out there. But in the window fog, someone had drawn a symbol. The same symbol that was on the 12th door, the portal, or the eye. And below, written with an invisible finger, "He is watching you." The next day, I called the laboratory saying I was sick and couldn't work. My supervisor said not to worry. Sublevel 3 had been permanently sealed overnight. A chemical accident, they claimed. The area was contaminated and no one would have access anymore. I spent the following days researching. I discovered things about Hawkins that no one should know. Children disappeared over the years, always in November, always near the laboratory. Parents who went insane, people who simply vanished without a trace. And I discovered about Project MK Ultra, a real government program. Mind control experiments, psychoactive drugs, sensory deprivation, everything that was in that journal. But the official files said the project had been terminated in the 70s. Lies. All lies. A week later, my daughter started having nightmares. She woke up screaming about a faceless monster, about a dark, cold place where children cried, about a girl with white eyes asking for help. And then she drew something that made my blood run cold. It was the rift, perfect in every detail, as if she had been there. But I had never told her, never told anyone. The nightmares got worse. She stopped eating. Her pupils started dilating strangely. And one night I woke up with her standing beside my bed. Her eyes were completely white. When she opened her mouth, it wasn't her voice that came out. It was that distorted child's voice. "He wants you back. You saw too much, know too much, and now your daughter will pay the price." I took my family and fled Hawkins that same night. Left everything behind. House, job, entire life. We moved to the other side of the country, changed our names, tried to start over. But you can't run from something that exists outside the normal rules of reality. Can't hide from something that can reach across dimensions, and can't forget what you saw, no matter how hard you try. It's been 5 years since that night. My daughter got better, but was never the same. She sees things that shouldn't be there, hears whispers in empty rooms. Sometimes I wake up and find her drawing that symbol on the walls. I know it's still there, in that place between worlds, waiting, watching. And I know that one day, it will finish what it started. The door was opened and can't be completely closed. The girl, Subject 011, tried to warn us, but it was too late. If you live in Hawkins, Indiana, or near the laboratory, my advice is leave. Don't ask questions, don't investigate. And if you see a girl with a shaved head and white eyes, run, and never look back. Because some experiments should never have been done, some doors should never be opened, and some monsters are too real to be just legends. The upside down exists, and it's hungry.